Don't waste your time with explanations. People only hear what they want to hear. Hey, thanks for joining me for another episode of Bitcoin and Coffee. I'll be your host, Eugene Forrest. So, what are we looking at today with these crazy cryptocurrency markets? Well, I mean, they fell down. It happens around here in the cryptocurrency market. But hey, when I was just checking out a little while ago, it looks like it's turning green. It looks like, maybe on the news of what's happening with the New York Stock Exchange and everything like that, supporting the ICE and the back. We could be seeing the biggest news of 2018, and the price could be starting to pick it up. You got to remember, it takes 24 hours for this news to go all the way around the world. So let's all keep our fingers crossed that this will be picking up. But you know what's even better going on? I got my friend Fundy AU here hanging out with us, and we got Samantha covering the chat. Say good morning or good evening, everybody.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Well, Fundy got the coffee covered today because he's over there at about 8 o'clock in the morning. I really appreciate you coming out here and hanging out for this live Q&A, buddy.
It'll be fun. It'll be good. I'm excited.
All right, everybody. Like I said, this is a live Q&A, and ask me anything, whatever you want to call it. Go ahead, pile up those questions, pile up those comments in the chat. Samantha's going to read them off for us. We're going to go ahead. We're going to both take the time to answer your questions because, that's really what we're here for in the cryptocurrency space. If we can't go ahead and get mass adoption going through by taking the time to explain it to the people that want to get into the space and start with this early adoption, it's not really going to go anywhere. I don't mind getting out here and providing this service for free. I love cryptocurrency that much. So how are you feeling tonight, Samantha?
Good.
Good?
Yeah, I worked this morning, took a nap, and now I'm doing this.
This fire is a hot one today.
Oh, it's only 95 degrees in here or something, before the fire. We were dying today because Eugene doesn't want air conditioning. So, yeah, that's fun.
It's so expensive.
It is, I know, but we are dying.
You're on solar power, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Most of it.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty much in the dead of summer over here right now. This is as hot as it's going to get here for us. I think today we actually touched a little bit on the other side of 100 at about like 1:30, 2 o'clock. It was about 103. So, I mean, with the heat index, we were probably pushing about 110.
Yeah, we have like brand new baby birds, and they don't need a heat lamp during the day.
It's 9 degrees, which translates to 49 outside here. So I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum.
I would kill for 49 degrees right now.
We were just talking about, because we moved here in the winter, we were just talking about like, wow, because we're in a northern part of Florida and we had come from a southern part of Florida, and the weather is different, even though we're only like 150 miles north of where we were.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a couple talking points, a little bit of news that I can start off the chat with, try to get you guys working with those crypto juices. So we seen Starbucks, right? I mean, that was the big one. I can't really not get out here and talk about coffee when cryptocurrency gets involved with it. Everybody talked about for the longest time. That was kind of how I came up with this name. When I jumped into the cryptocurrency space here, everybody was like, oh, Bitcoin isn't going to work. It's not good. I mean, unless you could buy a cup of coffee with it. And that's literally how I took the name. That's everybody was saying it. And I was like, yeah, Bitcoin and coffee. But you know what? Hey, we got the solution for you now. And like I said, or I've said before, we have the decentralization in Bitcoin on the main, network. And if third parties want to get involved, the centralization is going to happen on second tier solutions. Then, that's what it's going to be. So, I mean, if Starbucks doesn't really want to take the Bitcoin and hold it right now because it's a little too risky for them or whatever their thinking is behind it, well, obviously there's a third party that's willing to jump out there, get in the way, hold the Bitcoin, and give them the fiat in exchange. I don't know if this is the biggest news in the world, but I know that this will get people seeing Bitcoin. And like I keep saying, Bitcoin's like sushi. The first time you see it or taste it, it may not be what you want, but eventually you're going to come around to it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. I think the biggest wake-up call will be when suddenly Bitcoin starts to do another one of its peaks like it did late last year, and Starbucks is realizing that they're not holding it themselves and they don't have it in reserve. They've got cash.
Right.
So that'll be good.
I know hindsight is always 20/20, and with cryptocurrency, I'm sure that that's going to be a lot of people's downfall, is that when it, like how we seen last year when it shot up to 20,000, everybody was like, oh, well, if I wouldn't have bought this and I wouldn't have done that and I would have held here and, I would have all this money. And it's going to be the same thing, but this time around it's going to be 10 times worse because it's not going to be 20,000. It's going to be more like 100,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Interesting.
So what do we got going on? Is there anybody in the chat today, Samantha?
Well,
or am I like just out here ranting about that magical internet money like I tend to do?
Well, now there's someone else ranting with you, so no matter what.
Yeah, I guess
yeah,
I'm not alone.
There you go. See?
I got somebody else out here.
There's at least two people. There's at least three of us in the world talking about magic internet money. See? It's a good thing.
Trifecta right there. All right. We have RJ saying cheers from Canada. Tech Lord saying cheers from Canada as well.
Oh, I've added Tech Lord as a moderator, so he's going to be out there watching that chat. So you guys keep it clean. No more fighting. All right.
Rickis Ritz said he's made it and that he waited 48 hours. He also says, oh, Tech gets to be a mod and I didn't.
I went to go add you as a mod too, Rickiest Rick there, but it says that you have to have a channel in order for me to make you a moderator. You can try to make him one. If you go to the side of his name, there's 3 dots and you right click and at the very bottom it'll say add as a moderator.
Oh, I see how it is. You're going to try to make me do stuff.
Samantha is not the most tech savvy.
I am super not tech savvy at all.
Oh, random note. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Random note with Starbucks. I just remembered. They tried to launch here in Australia some time ago, and it completely fizzled out because I think the Australian population has a lot more of the sort of French heritage in that we like to know the barista, that sort of thing. So that I think they closed something like 80% of their stores back 5-6 years ago when they originally launched, but they're looking at starting to build it up again to a point where they might have it, and they're looking at a tourist population as a comfort thing rather than a something for your local populace.
Right, because really the locals won't use them, but the tourists wouldn't know the difference.
I don't know. Exactly. I mean, here in America, Starbucks is, to me, it's like the McDonald's. Everyone thinks they need to go to McDonald's once a day to have their lunch, and to me, it's just a fruitful waste. I mean, I walk into Starbucks and their coffee is good. I mean, but you know what? It should be good for like the $9 they want for a big cup of coffee. I mean, around here in Florida, I mean, if you work those eeny, meeny, miny, mo jobs like me and Samantha do, that's what you're making an hour. In an hour, I could brew a few pots of coffee, and I think you can go down to Walmart and you could buy a pound of ground coffee for $3 or so. So yeah, that's kind of a very wasteful way to spend your money as far as I'm concerned. But like I say, I'm a miser. I'm always looking to save these dollar bills because, I find that, wasting money just means that I have to go to work more and I can't spend time with my family. And I find spending time with my family a much more rewarding place to be than, slaving away making someone else money.
Exactly.
Rickis Rick does have a channel. I thought he did because we've seen him work on cars and stuff. So he's saying YouTube is censoring him.
I don't know, Rick. They might be.
I'll know.
Check on it. I'll make sure I take care of you, though, buddy. You've been here for a long time supporting the channel, and I definitely appreciate it.
Oh, everybody else. Somebody says it's 74 in Malibu. Oh, Sean.
It is a hot day here in Florida.
And Tech Lord says it's 84 in Canada.
And he normally sits in his room with the air, because I air condition the bedrooms, of course. I just don't air condition the living room. He sits in his bedroom all day because of it, and he's like, well, that's where my video game is.
Let's see. Tech Lords is saying it's not the Starbucks news that will ignite the next bull run. It's the collapse of the legacy financial system. Big banks, and they're toxic.
They are. I've never had a bank do us any favors. I mean, not in any way. I mean, they were gracious enough to give me the student loans and stuff like that in order to go to college. But let me tell you, they didn't let up on wanting the money back when I wasn't actually able to go out into the tech field and find a career right away. And I had to go back to those eeny, meeny, miny, mo jobs. But at the same time, it could have partially been my fault because I didn't keep pursuing it as much as I probably should have after college. And I did have a kid that was small and bills that were, I was up to my eyeballs in.
The interesting thing about big banks and running central things, and I don't know if we want to see this online, but this is a one Zimbabwean dollar dated 2007, and this is $10 trillion dated 2008.
That's
And
the one I
that's,
saw it work.
I think
Yeah.
it's an insurance, exactly. So Bitcoin for me is an insurance policy against someone at the top making the wrong decision.
Right.
Very wrong.
I don't know. I mean, I guess here in America, a lot of people have a lot more, support in the dollar or faith in it, I guess you'd call it, just because everyone here in America, we always think and believe America's the best. America's dollar is what the world's based on. Everyone else wishes they had our dollar bill. I mean, when I think of the older generation, or even people just my age, even, if you actually talk to them, a lot of people don't understand that, the dollar bill is not backed by gold anymore, and they print it, and the banks practice fractional reserves. And, when you buy a house, they just make an account with a negative balance in it, but that's not the mindset. These people have been, cultivated to believe through the education system here. So they just walk around, when they start going out on their own in their mid-20s and 30s, and they're just believing that the American dollar bill is all there is and it's going to last forever. And the truth of the matter is that it is no different than any other country. So when you look at, what happened in Greece, and you looking at, Venezuela, I mean, yes, they are not, number one. They are more, second and third world countries, but that can happen here. There is no different. We're all the same.
Exactly. Well, the Zimbabwean dollar, that was the gold rush, the diamond rush, was, back 20, 30, 40 years ago. And now it's the bottom of the heap, just with one big dictator up the top. Dictator being the key word.
Right.
It feels like that a lot of times here. I mean, you vote for your president and this and that, but I mean, a lot of times here, it doesn't feel like your vote counts. It gets a little messed up in the bureaucracy of the situation, where you vote for your representatives and your representatives vote, for the president and all this other stuff. I don't know. I mean, I hate saying this out here on air, but I normally don't get out there and vote very often. I've started trying to participate a little bit more in the last 5 years or so. But yeah, before that, when I was like 18 through my early 20s, voting, it was the least of my concerns.
Here we get fined $200-300 if we don't vote.
Oh,
so you have an interest.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Here we get fined if we don't have healthcare insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, no, it's great. I was going to say something else. The what was the previous topic 2 seconds ago? Talking about the US dollar and everything. Oh yeah, so with everything being like oil prices and things like that, that's really where the dollar value comes from, because you look at the US debt, it's just insane. But imagine if these countries were to start interacting directly instead of through a US dollar, through the central bank of central banks. It could have a devastating effect. Not that we want that to happen. I mean, homeostasis is great, and if the markets keep going up like they are, that's brilliant too. But it might not.
I mean, there are a lot of things that could overturn the dollar. I mean, and then at the same time, there's a lot of things. Oh, what's going on in the chat, Samantha? I'm piling up over there. I'm getting a signal.
We have Stephen McCoy. First, he asked, I've heard Australia is crypto friendly. So which ones are the most popular there?
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of hype, and there's a lot of ICO type stuff that was around late last year. 3 weeks ago, I attended a blockchain conference that was hosted by a set group of companies. And one of the ones which I thought was really good was the Power Ledger, which you guys may have heard a lot about. One of the big investors involved in that is Western Power, which is the Perth Metro, the big power supply company that runs us down in Perth, that's doing the research with that, or involved in the research with that. And it's a good way for them to keep a foot in the game, which is awesome for them. But what was I going to say? If they continue on their trajectory, that'll be awesome for Australia. What we're not seeing is the smaller adoption at the lower levels. Higher up, though, we've got our own coin jar, we've got CoinJar kind of allows, like I've got a debit card which will allow me to, it's like a prepaid debit card. So it'll automatically deduct from my Bitcoin and keep a float amount on there. Not that I use it. Under tax, we don't get charged GST if on the Bitcoin itself, if we spend under $10,000 a year and we're transacting direct Bitcoin for something else. I don't know whether that uses...
Cool. I know
exactly, yeah.
It sounds like you got a nice setup over there for cryptocurrency, like heading towards one of the more, you know, I don't know, accepting places of it. I mean, because here...
Right, could you imagine if we could pay a light bill or a phone bill or something with any kind of crypto?
Yeah, because I mean, pretty much now if I have to cash out cryptocurrency, I know Coinbase sucks, but at the same time, it's hard to get away from them. And I have the Shift card, of course, and I don't keep a lot there. I think I keep like $1,000 sitting on it just in case of an emergency. So it's like if I have a card, it's hooked to Coinbase. I got $1,000 in Bitcoin ready to go on hand if I needed it right this minute. I don't have to make no transactions or nothing. But besides that, hardware wallets all the way for me.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, yeah. We've got something else, Get Paid in Bitcoin. It's another company that's really good. And what they do, you submit their bank details to your employer, and they charge a $1 transaction fee, and then anything, and they require a minimum of $100. Anything automatically gets paid back, gets sent to your Bitcoin address, which you verify with them. So you could say, I want, the first $200 of my paycheck to go straight to Bitcoin, and that happens before it even touches your account.
Right, like just like savings, like instantly before you can even do anything else.
Like how you can add to your the
401ks, and you can split like direct deposits where you do a percentage to one
you can
card.
Also pay extra money into your taxes here, because I've done. Not that I've done that, but I've seen people do that where they have, at the end of the year, they have to pay money in normally. So they go ahead and have an extra $20 taken out of their paycheck so that at the end of the year, they don't have to bother with it.
Oh, and Stephen McCoy gave us our very first super chat for $1.99. And Tech Lords is an amazing moderator because he is thanking people and talking to people and answering questions before I can read them.
That's amazing. Thank you for the super chat. Somebody had just told me that it wasn't on, and I didn't know you actually had to do it.
It was Rick. He was like, you should make super chat happen.
I went through and did that, and then I actually I spent more time trying to figure out how you make your URL for YouTube actually be our name. And I actually came across it that somebody else tried to go biting on my name, and they made another Bitcoin and Coffee back in December, and they only made a 47-second pilot. But they jumped on it and stole the URL for Bitcoin and Coffee.
Yeah.
I was like, what? But I put in a complaint to YouTube, and I went ahead and asked them to take down the channel and to give me the URL. So I was like, I've been here for 2 years. I got over 400 videos. Come on.
Yeah.
Tech Lord says because of the trade board, the Fed is making sure that the price of oil is high to prop up the U.S. dollar. I mean, that's why they were talking about the Venezuelan coin. They didn't want to be able to. I mean, we all apparently have to pay for oil in the U.S. dollar.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's rules on it that that oil is bought and traded in U.S. dollars. It has to be, or it's supposed to be. I mean, I guess what the UN would probably stand behind it and start sanctioning you harder if you didn't. I'm not a big political person. I just know that. I mean, but that Venezuelan petro, it was pretty much a scam. Everybody knew it was going to be a scam off the bat. So, that concept was good. Just it was the wrong country to implement it.
Yeah, right? Why the U.S.? Why our dollar?
So, all right, let's get up on some other news here because we got a little bit to move through. So we're looking at, Coinbase custodian. They're going to be adding about 40 different coins to their. What does that really mean? Nothing. It means nothing for me and you. We're still going to have to be holding our stuff at the exchange or in our hardware wallets or on our hot wallets on our cell phone. This is pretty much going to be for those, $1 million investors, the big wigs out there that are moving and shaking in the market. They're going to have a place to store their coins. And of course, they don't want the responsibility of holding on to $1 million of any one of these 40 coins. Because I even noticed that they had some there a little shady, like, I don't know. I've mentioned it a few times on the show, but in the beginning of cryptocurrency, mining isn't the most easiest thing to get into, but you can mine Bitcoin off your CPU. So I started mining this Bitcoin. They've been around for a while. They have 0 transaction fees, which I thought was real cool. But their community is kind of dark and quiet. There's privacy, centralization. It's actually, I think, what Monero was forked off of in the beginning. It's going to be one of those coins, but there's been quite a few different times just along the roadmap of how long I've been in cryptocurrency where the code has gone bad. There's been double spending. So, it's not necessarily awesome, but I mean, it's good that I guess that somebody's going to step up and help these millionaires, go ahead and get their money in a way that they don't have to necessarily hold on to it. I mean, it's been the buzzword of this year is institutional investors and credited investors. I mean, I think it's all good and dandy, but it's pretty much like we're just asking for their money. And I think when they get here, they might end up doing a little bit more damage than good. Either that or I'm just hoping for a longer time of a cheaper Bitcoin so I can get more. One or the other.
Yeah. Sorry, Sam, did you want to add something?
Well, Rick is saying that apparently everywhere in Japan takes cryptocurrency, so we should just move there. I mean, he's saying 300,000 businesses take crypto.
Now that they've accepted it as legal tender or whatever, yeah, I mean, a lot of merchants over there are accepting it. I mean, they pretty much have all the rules and laws and regulations in place for it. So, I mean, the merchants, I mean, they're just got to go ahead and get a nice little setup.
Oh, turkey fight.
Yeah. So that reminds me, side note today, I know I keep telling you guys about my adventures out here in the woods. We had a wild pig out back today. I was just sitting out here with the dogs, and next thing I know, they started barking like crazy, and there was a wild pig. He kept coming around, making loops around the yard. So I tried to get a lasso out and chase him down. I was like, oh, hon, there's a free pig. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch him.
The pig was smarter than Eugene and his brother. They tag team tried to get him, and it still did not happen.
It's been nice, though. I've really been enjoying living out here in the woods. It's so much better than living in the city of Tampa and, with neighbors 10 feet away from you.
Yeah. In regards to the topic, with the that list of coins, I didn't recognize some of them. And I know they're not so do they even feature? They're the ones, Dogecoin was on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They advertise themselves as a joke coin, and hey, Doge has done pretty well recently. I printed off a Monopoly board game to play using Doge and just a whole lot of phone wallets, and I still need to do that with someone, get a couple of people together. I think if it makes it round, we'll be able to do it because it's 2.5 minute block time. Great,
right?
Yeah, right. But my concern with the custodial wallets, yes, that's great for the big company now, but what happens if we go back to events, I forget what year it was, I think it was like the 1940s or 50s or 80s, something like that, in the US, where the government demanded all gold that didn't have a stamped value on it be returned to them at a fixed price, and that was how they were able to support themselves. I think it was World War II, just after.
Yeah, it was like the 40s, somewhere in the 40s, because they started taking everybody's precious metals. Yeah, like all of us. They were saying, oh, yeah, you got to give us your silver, your gold, your steel, anything. That's also when they let women go to the workforce.
Yeah. Yeah. So what if that would have to happen now? We've got people, as Tone Vase, tries to completely separate himself from the crypto and his physical person, so he's not trackable. And then you've got the flip side with these companies that'll be keeping it on there. They might, that whole, what's it called? I forget the correct term. When the whale switch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, I can see that.
Interesting.
I can see that being a problem, and it is one of those things that it's just that, I'm always talking about a cryptocurrency education, and really what I mean by this cryptocurrency education is learning to always move yourself one step closer to this monetary sovereignty that you hear Trace Mayer talk about a lot. And I mean, if these credited investors and these millionaires or whatever need somebody else to hold their money, I mean, someone always gets burned, when you sell your crypto at the top, and it goes down. You know, someone always gets left holding the bag. And in this case, it's just going to be that the people that take the time to get a cryptocurrency education and get smarter and, then move towards this monetary sovereignty of getting their own air-gapped laptop and, putting their cryptocurrency on it, they won't have that problem. Just like me and you, I'm sure you have a hardware wallet. And
yeah,
I mean, not that is the full step towards sovereignty monarchy, because we have a third party. The ledger is running the node. The ledger is making our wallet for us.
Yeah.
But we're at least a lot further along than they are. I mean, going ahead and having Coinbase hold it for them.
Yeah. I don't know if you can route the ledger through your own node, but I know Samurai Wallet coming out on Android, I think it's an alpha release on Android, that will be able to link to your personal node, which is a huge step forward. If you've got the data for it, that's awesome. And you could even set up a small group of friends, and that way you've got your local node that everyone's running off. Could be interesting.
I don't know. I think as the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency goes up, a lot more people are going to start jumping into the space. And when more people jump into the space, we'll start having new innovation. Like I think I heard on World Crypto Network talking about that they would like a node that you could just plug it in, like a box. You just plug it in, turn it on, and it takes care of itself. And I think things like that will come along. And I think when things like that come along, people will be more likely to be running their own nodes and validating their own blockchains. So I think that we are still in early days, of course, and I think that monetary sovereignty is going to be a growing aspect of the cryptocurrency space as more people get into it and they see the true value in the Bitcoin and everything else is that we are our own banks. So why would you not want to go ahead and take the advantages of the situation and move away from these third parties? I mean, we need them a little bit now. It's a give and take relationship, and right now we need them a little bit to help onboard these people. But once we get enough people onboarded and cryptocurrency is established as a world currency, I think then it'll be another step in the evolution of cryptocurrency is that we start moving away from the third parties. But I mean, we're probably talking, 10 years down the road for something like this.
Okay, I apparently cannot scroll upward on your half screen chatness, but someone asked if there's would you hold crypto on on a phone wallet, and if so, what kind? And I mean, everybody's saying don't hold a lot on it because
yeah, I mean, on your cell phone is pretty much a hot wallet. I was using the Eclair wallet because I like the fact that they had the Lightning Network feature, and I've been kind of really digging that and digging deep into it and trying to get my mind wrapped around it and I do believe that it is a situation of storing and spending cryptocurrency. But my friend JT Irving turned me on to the Ethos wallet, the one that I put on your phone,
yep.
Samantha, and we've been using that one a little bit, and that is it's really nice. It has a good interface. Not that I'm out supporting the coin that's behind it in any way, but the wallet did seem nice. It had a good interface. It was easy to use. It had preset ratings for sending currency out and all of that.
We have Benchen who gave us a super chat.
Really?
$5. He said, all right, you set up super chats. Go MGTOW.
Thanks, Benchen. Hey, I even made you a moderator, buddy, before the show started.
We will work on you, Rickistrick. All right, we will work.
You're next, buddy. I'll take care of you. I don't know. This YouTube is... I've always been trying to use the YouTube to get out here and support the free help desk service. That was the main goal in the YouTube. Because who wants to use a free help desk service when you don't know the person on the other end, right? So I figured I'd make a little YouTube channel. I'd get out here. I'd show everyone my face. I tell you guys every single time my name's Eugene Forrest. You can get out there and check me out all you want through, credit checks, background checks, or whatever you want to do.
Good luck. There's nothing.
Yeah. I'm a nobody. But hey, you see me. I'm out here every single day talking to you guys, telling you what I think and feel about cryptocurrency. And like I keep telling you, I'm not trying to get $1 million or nothing like that. I'm just trying to, take care of my family and have a good time while I'm doing it.
Joshua Welling, the guy from Twitter, is here, and he says that the Lightning has a Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi, the Lightning node. You know how they were making the nodes off of a Raspberry Pi?
Uh-huh.
Yes, that was his statement.
I'm sure that it shouldn't be that hard. Yeah, because once you get one, as long as you can regenerate the private keys, or as far as I recall, you can even utilize like your Trezor or your Ledger and use the full node with the keys. To to manage it, and that way you've got your node. You can just clone the drive. You literally put the little SD card, you copy it onto another card. I've got a friend who's busy setting up a Lightning node, and he's saying that he'll do that. He's just working out which Raspberry Pi will be able to support it because of the different, the architecture and the speed of it.
Yeah.
So that'll be really cool. If it does come to that, and if it's just a case of clone it, as long as you trust the source of the clone, then you're set. Or if you're not going to hold Bitcoin on that specific one, you're just using it as a node to have a node, rather than verifying your own transactions. I think that's the key if you're willing to download the full blockchain and you trust the source. Yeah.
I mean, I dug into all of this, and I was trying to get my node up and running because I had a node running when I was over in Tampa, and I tried to get it going over here, and then I was starting to look about trying to add a Lightning channel on top because I thought it'd be really cool if I could put a Lightning donation address down there below. Not that I'm looking for a ton of money, but still trying to support that EDC. I mean, you guys have been given to it, and I can't thank you guys enough. It definitely seems like me and Samantha are working hard to try to get there and be able to, spread the word of cryptocurrency out to everybody, at this festival, because there'll be thousands of people. And I think that it's the right generation and possibly the right atmosphere where people would be receptive, because it's also not like a 2-hour concert. It's a full 2-day event, with carnival rides and food. And, so there's downtime where the music's not blaring and you're not trying to pay attention to the stage. So I think that passing out flyers and talking to people, I think I might be able to make a little bit of a difference. And of course, as I keep telling you, I'm not looking to get a ton of money because I'm not looking to hand out cryptocurrency. I don't believe that that is the best idea. I believe that giving out cryptocurrency to the people that are not necessarily into it or understanding it that well, you're kind of just throwing cryptocurrency into the ether, because they won't keep their private keys, they won't remember them, and that cryptocurrency will be lost to never be found again.
Yeah. Going back for 2 seconds, do you mind if I comment back on phone wallets for 2 seconds?
Ahead, no, Eugene just keeps talking, so just go back.
My brain's one step behind you, that's all. With the phone wallets, I talked briefly about the Samurai wallet. Personally, I prefer the iPhone wallet. Sorry, I'm using iPhone because theoretically they've got better security than an Android.
They do.
It's built on the same, it's basically the same thing.
I don't have an iPhone. I've never had an iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, they're a lot less hackable. They're a lot, it's different.
Yeah.
I'm a $100 phone kind of guy.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that works too. But I wouldn't be putting more than $100 on it. If I'm not going to carry the physical cash in my wallet in my pocket, why would I carry it on my phone in my pocket?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the key there.
Exactly.
If I plan to do a big spend, yes, I'll put more cash in my wallet. If I plan to do a big spend in crypto, yes, I might put it onto my Jax or Airbits or whatever. But if I'm not just walking around, I'm not going to carry, a couple $100. It's not worth the risk.
Right. Yes. Why just walk around with your rent in your pocket?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah,
I mean,
casually.
It's just like you're saying, like the people that are walking around with thousands of dollars in their pocket, they're pretty much asking to get robbed.
Yeah,
they're asking for the wrench attack. They're asking for somebody to mug them in the alleyway. I mean, a lot of times I don't even like to carry more than like a $20 bill on me. It just, there's no need for it. I don't find it necessary.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
All right, we have Joshua Welling saying that it's FOMO Lightning, I think is what it's called, but that's what the Raspberry Pi, and he says it's Charlie Lee has tactfully endorsed it. So, I mean, yes.
I'll have to look more into that one. I do have to thank you, though, Josh. You've been doing a great job of supporting me on Twitter and sharing me out and putting me down as one of those favorite peoples for other people to follow. I'm coming close to 1,000 followers on Twitter. I think I got 950 today. So big thank you there, buddy. I've never been a Twitter person, but everybody was giving me a little bit of a hard time, saying that if you're going to run a YouTube, you got to run a Twitter because it makes it easy for people to find you and communicate and share your videos out. So as always, you guys, hit the like button down there, share this video out, but definitely give it a thumbs up so more people can start finding us in the community. Now that we've broken 2,000 followers because of Ben, it's been great over here. It's really been picking up. I've been getting over 100 views a day. I'm ecstatic about the growth in the channel because it actually makes me feel like I'm out here doing something to make a bit of a difference. The help desk is, of course, I mean, it's been going off not every day, but I mean, some days I'll get 5 and 2 and 1, and then some days I'll get none. But lately, it's been more emails than not emails, and that's always a good feeling.
Regis Rick says when he opens his Bitcoin hostel in Cambodia, we can stay for free, like all of us, like all 3. And he says that he has to pack up, but he'll be listening. So, all right, Rick.
Have a good time, Rick. Thanks for listening.
We have John saying, I think Litecoin will be more purchasable. I know that's not a word, whatever.
Purchasable?
Yeah, thank you. And attainable for mass adoption. So, I mean, you know.
I know that a lot of people on my following have come from Ben, and a lot of you guys are Litecoin big holders. You know, love Litecoin and everything. I mean, I think Litecoin has its place for sure. It's just, as always, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist or borderline. I've given away a little bit to these altcoins because I did miss some money on the run up there. It did seem like you could just throw a dart at any altcoin and make some money, and I held Bitcoin pretty much the whole way up. So, I mean, when you go over to CoinMarketCap and you see that there's 1,700, you know, different coins now, and you see that the BTC dominance is coming around the 43%, it's like, all right, maybe you guys can have 10% of my holdings, you know, diversify it amongst the ones you really believe in. I mean, I used to be big into Dash, and then it seemed like they kind of died off, but I've heard they've been doing a lot in Venezuela lately. I'm not holding no Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah. What's funny with the Bitcoin Cash, I've got Bitcoin Cash, but I haven't bought Bitcoin Cash. If it's on my hardware wallet, it's still on my hardware wallet. And that's, I think, the key to a sound money. If it forks and that fork becomes the real thing, then I've already got it. If it's not going to maintain your previous value, then is it really a long-term value hold? Like, I think, is it B Rhodium, and not taking a dig at them. I didn't do anything with my keys because my keys aren't to be touched on certain wallets.
It wasn't a situation with the keys. It was that you had to sign a message with them, but there was a period of time to do it with. And I think I did it at one point, but then they thought they were going to launch, and then they didn't launch, and they're redoing another launch. So I don't even know if the sending that I did worked or not.
No one wants to do that stuff, like, you know, over and over again. You don't even feel good when you have to do it the first time. It's sketchy.
Exactly.
I have a link down here below in the tools, and it'll tell you all of the Bitcoin forks. And I was overwhelmed with how many there were. And I think I've heard someone else say it before, so this is not an original idea. But we do need something where, you know, you move your Bitcoin out, and then you put the private key into some sort of an app, and then it goes and collects all the forks for you, sells them in an exchange, and then deposits the Bitcoin into your new wallet. Because whoever can make that, I mean, I will definitely be donating and supporting to help the cause on that one.
Yeah. But you look at it, you know, Bitcoin was at, what, $1,000. Bitcoin Cash was at $200. Bitcoin Gold was at $2. And then everything, you know, it's just kind of been this peter out of the value because people overdid it. You know, if you don't need to fork it, why are you forking it? Why don't you contribute to the main project?
Because everybody's greedy. But yeah, I mean, there's not a good reason.
Green takes over, but I mean, I think that there will be. I think that, you know, when it comes to this cryptocurrency space, it's a long-term project, and I think there will be, you know, moments of expansion beyond our borders, and then we'll have to reconsolidate, and then we'll expand beyond our borders and reconsolidate. But every time we expand and reconsolidate, we will be gaining more ground. We will be taking more territory. We will be taking power away from, you know, all of the fiats and all of the different fiats, in fact, and the central banks and, you know, all of these middlemen and third parties and all of the stuff that makes it so that, like, when you go to send a Western Union, why does it cost me $20? You know, it shouldn't.
Exactly. Yeah. Also on that, on the point of, what's it called? Litecoin and things like that. I ran some numbers this morning. $80 trillion is the all the wealth in the world. So that's whether it's in gold, in stocks, in bonds, or whatever like that. And we've got 21 million Bitcoin. That will, to my calculation, that'll be 3 cents per Satoshi. So for on-chain transaction, that gets quite expensive when you're looking at so many 1 to 2 Satoshis per byte. If you're looking at 3 cents, and that's back to the legacy network, which we've got at the moment. When I say legacy, I'm not referring to Bitcoin legacy, I'm referring to central bank legacy. But then if you start to look at Litecoin, is there actually a place for that if we've got the Lightning Network fully up and running? But I'm like you, I've got 10%, roughly 10%. When I set it up, it was 10% of, play money that, if I want to put it in Litecoin and Dash. And I'm the same with Dash. I stopped buying Dash when it was about $40, and I think it's back down. It's just heading back down, but they're focusing on the small market anyway.
I know you haven't heard much from Dash lately, but I mean, they used to be awesome.
They've been in Venezuela, trying to stay in motion and help the people over there. They have some, stuff on the ground from last I heard. I can't ever down the person that helped me get my first Bitcoin, because I actually, when I got into all of this, I fell into all the traps like everyone else did, and I bought cloud mining. And I bought Dash Cloud Mining, and luckily, I was profitable on the situation, and I traded all my Dash, for a Bitcoin on the way up. So, I mean, I won, if we're going for a win or a lose situation, I won on that one, and I feel bad for anybody that got stuck holding bags on it, or bags that I may have unloaded. But, it is that you have to make mistakes in this cryptocurrency space, because I deal with a lot of people that they come and they tell me things that they've done wrong, and it's like everybody has. I sold Ethereum and got buybacks on credit cards. I made all kinds of mistakes in the beginning. I used some exchanges that aren't here anymore. I bought coins at one point that weren't even real. So I mean, once you start making these mistakes, then you realize that there's problems in this space. You start doing your due diligence and finding out who you can actually trust. And you realize you got to start verifying everything in this space, because there are a lot of scammers, and definitely never click on anything on the side of a faucet.
Yeah. I've got my mistakes. I've got 4 times the value of what I've mined if I'd purchased Bitcoin outright instead of buying mining equipment. But it's come to that point where I've moved it over to, I've moved some of the equipment over to a house that's solar powered. So when it comes to summer and all the energy is getting wasted, it'll be used to mine on an S7, which will be nice. But it was too loud. I bought an S7. I had S3s running for a little while, the Bitmain S3s. And they're great, and they're not too loud. So I bought an S7, which sounds like a jet engine. 747 and taking off. And that doesn't work in your lounge.
Right? It's like, oh, yeah, that just kicked on.
Pretty much. I had a Bitcoin miner, and unfortunately, I was renting, and there wasn't an extra 220 plug. So I thought I would jerry-rig something up, and I kind of just took some electrical wire and kind of jammed it in a few different circuits to, make the 220 line. And it worked fine for a while.
No, it didn't.
Until it started tripping all the breakers. And eventually after that, I just decided to sell the miner, because it wasn't really worth the effort and burning down the house while we were all sleeping.
Australia actually works at 240 volts.
So yeah.
That's easy.
Everywhere but here does.
I know, right? I love your little funky plugs.
They got the funky plugs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure that we're getting late because it's kind of getting dark. What time is it, Sam?
45 after 8:45.
All right.
We do have. Wait, Sterling.
I was gonna say, let's tune into the chat here. And
he asked about what is the name of the Perth power company that is doing stuff with Bitcoin, because he would know, because we don't.
Western Power.
Western Power. All right.
Yeah, I had heard quite a few things about this Australian power company that was doing stuff with it, because they were acting as a mediary. Like, you were able to also pay some other bills through paying it through the power company. Is that true? Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like you could also pay like your telephone bill or something like that. Like, they were acting as like they were the power company, and you could pay your power bill, but you could also use them to send them the Bitcoin, and they would pay your like your phone bill or whatever. Like landline phone, not a cell phone.
Yeah. Yeah,
But this
West
was,
Power.
I mean, they've been doing that for a minute though. Like it's been like a year or plus that they've been doing this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
going on.
Australia's on it over there.
Everybody but here.
Everyone but here. It's all right.
What I'd love to see is how do we get. Sorry,
you're
you
go.
go. What I'd love to see is the universities getting involved here, because there's nothing being taught at our universities. Over East, we've got some 3D bioprinting happening, which is awesome, and we're one of the leaders in that. We've got a couple of things happening in Australia, but as far as research and development goes, but we don't have it being taught in universities. Cyprus, University of Nicosia, is leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of the world as far as teaching Bitcoin goes. The US has got, I think, Harvard teaches and a couple of other teach, and the UK has only just started teaching it at universities. But why aren't we teaching it here? It's like we're doing all the R&D at a what's it called? At a business level, but who's gonna filter up into that?
You're not developing the devs for it.
Yeah.
No. And we're cutting because of the decrease in the oil and gas and the mining up north and shipping to China. We're seeing a reduction in the chemical engineering and just engineering in general. I think one of the universities cut 80% of their intake for engineering this last year. It's crazy.
It is. That is a bit crazy. I mean, I don't know. That is one of the selling points when I try to go explain this to my family and I tell them why I'm doing it and stuff. It's like, you can't even go out and get an education in this stuff anymore. Like, you can't go to school for cryptocurrency. I mean, well, when I started, I guess now you can. But at the same time, you're not going to go to school and get the same kind of cryptocurrency education that we're receiving by actually being here in the space, purchasing cryptocurrencies, investing in different ICOs and coins, and, trading in the markets, and maybe getting on Lightning Network and even buying something. I mean, it's not a skill. It's a skill you have to do, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Not something you could sit around and write on a chalkboard.
Yeah, learn by doing.
Yep.
I mean, I like way back in the beginning of this, I had made a simple video, and it was half in promotion of how Coinbase used to give you the free $10 for the 100, and it was to buy the 100 eventually, like even if you got to do it in small ports. But when you get that free $10, go use that to get your education. Open up an account in exchange, move that $10 in there. But this was before I think they had the minimum buys quite like they do at $5. It was back when it was smaller. So it was like that $10. You could actually go to an exchange and start buying, $1 of several different coins that were under the dollar. It got you moving your currency out of your wallet, opening an account, making an exchange. And it didn't actually cost you anything if you invested in the wrong coin, because it was a free $10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Benchen says they're making more room for gender studies. I love you, Benchen. Apparently, no one's ever going to understand, women, men, yes, or all of the in-betweens.
Men don't understand women. It's not going to get fixed. It's been this way for thousands of years.
This predates money itself. I mean, originally we would just hit them on the head and drag them away.
Right.
It was so much easier.
I mean, Americans cannot even understand the metric system. All right, they failed horribly.
I sent my son the other day to go get. I was trying to change the chainsaw blade fell off. And I was going to put the blade back on, and it takes a half-inch wrench. He comes back and he's like, I can't find a half-inch. They all have they all have numbers. And I was like, those are metric. I was like, you have to look for the other ones. He was like, they make the wrenches in both? I was like, yes, they do, son.
That's awesome.
I mean, they don't. I don't know if they even really teach. I know they teach it in school, but I don't know if they teach it quite like they used to. I mean, they used to make us know what the difference is, where you could tell, that 3 foot is a yard and all of these other things, and what it was in meters. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, just like we used to have to learn how to write in cursive, and now they don't bother doing that.
No.
I think half of them aren't required to say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore.
Yeah, they also have changed how you learn math, even though it's the same math, because that was awesome when our kid went to 5th or 6th grade. I'm like, wait, you're trying to do fractions? What are you talking about? This is how you do it. And he's like, no, that's not how they do it.
I don't know. One of the things I don't talk about often is that when I was going to school, they were trying a different thing where I learned how to sight read. I actually look at the first two letters and I look at the last two or three letters, and my brain just tells me what the word is based on that. I actually don't read the word half the time. So that's where I usually screw up. Like,
yeah, that's why I'm reading the chat, people.
That's why, like, nomadic giant, I used to call Nordic giant.
Oh, he's here. He said hi.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for coming out. But yeah, it was just something they were trying in New York schools for apparently the year I was learning how. So for 2 years, they were trying to teach me how to read this way, and it didn't do me any favors whatsoever. I think it held back my reading skills pretty much until I got like into my junior and senior year, and I had all these books I had to read that I finally I had so much reading to do that I kind of broke down the barrier of what I was doing and started actually reading the words the way you're supposed to.
Silver Crypto's here. He says camping and crypto.
But this ain't quite camping. This is our backyard.
Yeah, it's in between camping and, civilization.
If you live in the right place, every day is going to be a good day.
Right. I love fires.
All right. Well, is there anything else in that chat, or should I run through my end spiel and then stop back in?
No, not really. We have Vengeance saying, yes, you have to have 2 sets of tools, because he's a mechanic. We have Steven saying more women need to know about cryptos. It's men dominated.
It is men dominated.
It is.
You can pretty much go to every YouTuber, and when you look at their statistics, I mean, it is like 3%. I mean, I have come across a few women in the cryptocurrency space. I've tried to get some of my female friends in the cryptocurrency space. I think it's more of a fact that, I mean, I'm not trying to be sexist if there's any ladies out there listening.
Women don't care how the money is made.
They don't really. They
just want to spend it.
Yeah. They're not, but they're also not really looking for the longevity of investment to make money. They think, oh, well, I just have to go to work and I punch my time clock. And then when my time clock is, when the time is up, I punch it again and I go home. And that means I'm done for the day.
Or if you even have it even better, you don't even punch a time clock. You have your husband do it and you still just do what you want. Yeah, I'm slightly hating. I know.
Can I ask
go ahead.
A little question? This is and I know I don't mean to bring up a new topic right at the end of the conversation, but this is actually a really good question. Is that, that way of thinking, is that something that we're programmed to do the same way that men are less likely to go for health checkups and things like that? Females, when you're going for your birth control pills, all that sort of thing, you're going and seeing a GP regularly. And men will often develop cancers and things because they're not getting followed up as they would. It's like, oh, she'll be right, mate. It's all good.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of men. I mean, one of the guys I worked with today, he literally rescued somebody out of a burning vehicle. He had smoke inhalation and carbon monoxide, inhalation. And then he literally was like, well, I spent 6 hours in the emergency room, and he found out that the blood pressure medication that he had been taking for 6 months, that he had apparently built up a tolerance to. And the only reason why he knew that was because he actually had to, they started doing blood tests and they were like, do you realize that you're literally about to stroke out from your blood pressure? And he said, well, I've been taking my medication. I mean, it is fundamentally, women take care of their bodies better, but they assume that men are going to do more with their bodies. And it's just fundamentally that they don't think, I mean, until you drop down and pass out or, stroke out, most men don't go to a doctor and most men don't try to make sure that they are healthy, even though statistically, sadly, a lot of men are the majority of the breadwinners.
Maybe it's you don't fix it unless it's broke.
You don't know if it's broke unless you go see a professional.
Your body doesn't always give you the indicators as early as they should.
Yeah. So I wonder if that relates then to, spending of money and how you look, generally you're looking at the longevity of, or even what you study and what job you get into. Are you aiming to be a school teacher? Are you aiming to be a, what job you'll go for and the longevity of that job and how much you intend to get from it?
Yeah, I know from my experience, a lot of men are more professionals. They actually have careers or they've stayed in their actual occupation long enough that they've made a lot of money. They get paid a lot of hours. I get paid this much an hour because I've been here for 20 years. A lot of women just pick any kind of job. They're really flighty. Oh, I want to be this. And oh, no, it didn't work out. I'm going to be this. And I mean, we all have the when I grow up syndrome.
I'm going to do cosmetology.
Yes.
I'm going to sell real estate.
Oh, and then I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to hand out samples at a mall. I mean, really?
Yeah, exactly. Sure. It's like a photographer.
Yes. Everybody is somebody, right? Yes. No. I mean, I don't know. It is a different mentality.
They'll take one job, like you know, even if you just do simple construction, like they're like, I'm a framer, and then they continually try to find jobs as a framer, or they're a mason or something like that, and they continue to stay with that, and then they try to build a higher pay rate due to the fact that they say, I've been doing this for 10 years, or I've been doing this for 12 years. They think that their time in the space gives them the value of more money.
Yeah.
Stephen McCoy says diamonds won't be a girl's best friend in the future. It will be Bitcoin. Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the rap video where they're like holding the ledgers.
Yeah, I know, right? They got bracelets, you know, everybody's jingling.
Right, he just, you know, he got the big chain with the ledger on the end, you know.
And Vention is saying that he takes one of these a days to reduce blood pressure and to fight, and he has a link. So I guess I will try to talk to my coworker about that and let him know, because he really was like, well, I guess I built up a tolerance to the medication and they gave me a different kind.
What is the stuff that I put in the water I drink every single day?
Oh, Dematicatus earth. I'm not even sure if that's how you say it. I used to call it derogenated earth. That's obviously not right, but yeah, it's Dematicatus, something like that.
I put 2 tablespoons of that in water every single day.
Natural silica.
Yeah, it's good for you. It does great things for my body. It's also supposed to lower your blood pressure.
It's supposed to do lots of amazing things if you,
I don't know. I
believe it.
Farm animals. I figure if it works for them, it works for me.
If it works for farm animals. All
right, let me run through the end spiel here, and then we'll stop back in with the chat, and then we'll stop back in with Fundy AU, and then we'll go ahead and we'll shut this down because it is getting kind of dark, and my beer is almost empty. So, all right, you guys, I really want to thank you guys. I appreciate you guys coming out here and checking out the channel. You know, we're here as often as possible. Unfortunately, I have to let you guys know that due to some issues, I might have to be taking a part-time job. So I think tomorrow and Tuesday. Her car. So on Monday and Tuesday, my video will probably be in the afternoon. So that'll help you guys out that are in different places, like you, Fundy. And then on the days when I'm not working, I will still continue with the 9:30 in the morning. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I have all kinds of tools, links, and affiliation codes listed down below. All right. But the best thing you can do is you can come on over to Steam It, upvote my post, comment down below. I will go ahead and I'll give you a full upvote. I know it's only a couple cents, but you know what? That's how faucets work, right? But the best thing you can do is you can check out my free help desk service. It's at eugeneforest20@gmail.com. You know, that's really the service I'm trying to provide to you guys out here. But always like, share, and comment on my video if you can. All right, Sam, what do we got going on in the chat?
We have Vention trying to hooked on phonics. Yeah, still not happening. But he's trying to help me out here. Still not happening. But yeah. We have
type it in the Google bar and press the say button. That's what I do when I can't say a word.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's what what's it called? Synonyms are for.
Yes. No, we have let's see, Stephen McCoy saying good night, that it's dinner where he's at. So have a good day in Australia.
I had some pizza right before this, but I'm thinking I'm probably going to go snack again after we're done here.
Yeah, his probably second meal.
He's so close to bed, but still.
Probably won't go to sleep that early. We get all, like, I don't know, we get all happy when we do live streams.
I know. You guys really do excite me. This really is exciting to me. I love doing this. And I mean, I don't know what else I would be doing if I wasn't doing this right now. Like, I mean, I know that I used to go to the bar. I used to try to hang out with friends. I don't even hang out with friends anymore. You guys are my friends. So, like, this is me going and hanging out with people right here. Like, this is it. If it's not this, it's just me and Samantha and my son hanging out here on property. And I mean, due to the fact of, you know, that I've been working on my own, fixing and repairing and selling vehicles, I don't actually leave much unless the man is coming to the house to look at my car for sale.
Oh, JT Irby's here now, but he says good evening. But we're about to wrap it up.
Oh,
Aw.
buddy, I recorded it for you.
Right? Go back. All right. Yep. And then RJ says, great show. Thanks. Cryptos are green.
I know. I noticed that too. And like I was saying in the beginning of this, everything that's supposedly going to be going on with this New York Stock Exchange and what they're doing to try to get cryptocurrency legitimized so that people can start dumping their 401k. I'm still trying to wrap my head around all of it and how it's supposed to be coming out in November and how they've supposedly been secretly working on this for 14 months. I mean, at one point, this would have pushed cryptocurrency up $1,000 all on its own, easy. But I mean, we're having trouble. I mean, it's taken 24 hours to go around the world, and it seems like it's bringing some green to the board. I mean, I don't think it's going to push us back to the $8,000, but hey, some stabilization in the price is just going to help you get it at a cheaper price because we all know this is going somewhere in the future. That's why we're here. That's why we're collecting it now. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind anymore about what cryptocurrency is going to do. I mean, I've been here for 2 years. I've been collecting it since the halvening, and it's done nothing but great things for my family. I mean, before this, I probably never had much of a savings, never had much of a long-term plan, just paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. Saving fiat never got me nowhere. Every time it seemed like I put it in the bank, they'd always slap me down with some kind of fee and it was gone. It'd be like, you overdrafted. And it was like, how did I overdraft? Oh, the gym wanted their maintenance fee and I wasn't planning it being this month. And now it's a $30 overdraft fee and we're charging you $10 a day and your paycheck didn't come in until Friday. So there's $50 gone.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yes,
Yep.
We are all tortoises here. Oh, JT says, what's this? Admins, we are now official. Yeah. I didn't do this. Eugene did, because obviously I don't know how to click anything except up and
ran
down.
Up to the store to get the beer, and I was setting everything up, and I just started messing around with it, and I was like, yeah, let's have some moderators, and I was trying to pick some of the good people out here. I will get to you, Rick.
And JT Irby, is he one? Yeah.
I'll get to you too, buddy. Everybody that's been here since the beginning.
Oh, we'll make Fundy. Come on, everybody.
Yes,
lots of Rick. Let's go.
Everybody here that's been supporting the channel and been here since the beginning. Because hey, we're gonna go big, right? We're gonna get 5,000, 10,000, subscribers. I mean,
sure.
I mean,
you never know.
Zombie, the guy stopped cutting grass and hopped out on the internet, and I think it was 8 months later, he's looking at 40, 50,000 subscribers.
I know, but the one video he did outside in New York in the summer, he was like, "Ooh, it's hot, I'm sweating." It's like, really? How did you do lawn care?
Oh, I know you guys don't even know some of the stuff I've gone through to make videos for you guys. I mean, it's probably 85 degrees out. And this fire is freaking hot. Yeah. I am sweating good. But I love all of you guys. Fundy, I really appreciate you coming out here. If there's anybody else out there that thinks they want to come on and join us for a live Q&A, we keep this real casual.
Right? It wasn't scary, right, Fundy?
Yeah, no, this was a great night. It was good. Thank you.
So let everybody know, I mean, if they wanted to, support you in any way or follow you, you said you had a Steam?
Yeah, you're welcome to follow me on Steemit, the Fundy AU. I've got a whole lot of videos on there which I produced early last year or mid last year before the big run up. I kind of stopped because it was just getting too much and people were freaking out about the price going up. And that's where I'm still publishing some stuff every now and again. Then I've also got, what's it called? Twitter. If you want to see 3D printing and stuff like that, you can check me out on Instagram, the Fundy AU. Yeah, Fundy means is an informal South African term that means enthusiast. So if you want an enthusiast of anything, I'm the place.
That's cool.
Go ahead and shoot me the link to that Steam account, and I'll go ahead and I'll put it in the show notes so it makes it easy for everybody to find you.
Will do. No worries.
But I really do appreciate you coming out here, my man, and I'll make sure I get you to be a moderator. I mean, this was awesome. This was a great time. It really was. Samantha's smiling. It looks like it's ear to ear.
It was a good night. I like talking to other people. Yes.
All right. You want to check in with the chat one last time before we go ahead and walk away from this? What's the matter? Is there something out there?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. Just keep going. It's fine. We're not going to die from a pig or a bear. Not tonight.
Pig, yep.
Yeah, it's fine.
It could be the pig.
It could be. Well, we're trying to catch him.
There was a black bear out there about 2 weeks ago. He was probably about 5 foot. Oh,
No, we have
Fireworks?
Yep, redneck fireworks. Gotta love it.
down by the lake.
I don't know what they're celebrating, but hey,
Probably just a party.
The crypto
It's
price of
Bitcoin.
right?
It's
There we go. In
time
the
to
green.
celebrate.
In the green.
In the green.
All right. Are we good, Sam? Is
Yeah, we're
anyone else in the
good.
Chat? I do appreciate all of you guys coming out here. Thank you so very much. I will see you tomorrow afternoon, everyone. Remember, keep your Bitcoin safe.
Bye,
See you guys.
guys. Bye, Fundy.